you have kids, can you explain to me how your life has changed? And not just like, oh, it's amazing, I felt love I never felt before. I mean, tangibly, can you stitch this? Can you comment this?
So I get comments like this. Maria, why are you so negative? Why is it that you make it look like having children is a bad thing? Yes, we know you support child-free by choice women, but then there are mothers that are happy being mothers, there are mothers that enjoy being mothers, there are parents that are happy being parents, there are parents that having children makes their life beautiful. Well, if you've been putting those comments in my comment section, today is your lucky day because this lady asked a question. She threw this question to parents. She was like, what is it that changed in your life after you had children? What is like, tell me the good thing, because she's considering having children because she's like, this is the only partner that I've been with that is making me to feel like, I think I can have a child with this guy. So she's asking parents, of course, you will know it's mothers that will answer this question, right? That what is it that changed in your life? Is it worth it? What just tell us, like, be truthful, tell me. So few people stitched this video. Let's go ahead and watch stitches from mothers saying the good part of being a mom, the beautiful part of being a mom, and maybe you can reconsider if you want to have a child, or if you're thinking and you're like, maybe you can reconsider. So let's watch the stitches together, and I'm back to share my thoughts at the end of the video.
If you have kids, can you explain to me how your life has changed? And not just like, oh, it's amazing, I felt love I never felt before. I mean, tangibly, can you stitch this? Can you comment this? Can you let me know? Because I'm in this era of my life. I'm 29. I have a partner that I love. He's the first person I've ever dated that I think I could have kids with. And I don't know what the hell I want to do, because I'm going to be real, guys. It looks like a lot of work. And I know that the work is worth it because you love your kids, but I'm wondering, like, I've been watching a lot of these regretful parenting TikToks recently. I'll tag the creator below if you want to go look. And it's made me really think, your life changes, but it seems that people don't express enough how much your life changes and how negative some parts of that are. So can you let me know what your experience is with parenthood, particularly motherhood, even if you have a great partner? Let me know. Stitch, comment, whatever. Like, what do you wish you knew? Do you wish you waited longer? Do you wish you started earlier? Do you wish that you had certain things in your life? Like, do you wish you'd had bought a house with a yard, or were you fine in an apartment? Like, what life things do you wish you knew or changed, and how has it changed your lives? Need some parent advice from a non-parent. If you have kids, can you explain to me how your life has
the biggest change after having my first daughter? It was like someone suddenly switched a light on in my life, and it was suddenly filled with beauty and joy and magic and color. I mean, I'm a content creator that has a whole platform and podcast that is really built around sharing the experience of motherhood and parenthood. And I have never, ever shied away from the challenges that you face when you become a mother and when you have children. It is really hard fucking work. I mean, I just shared a 12-month journey with like severe postpartum depression. Like, that shit was so fucking rough. But to answer your question, no, I've never regretted having children once, despite all the hard times. I think especially as someone who has gone through a lot of stuff in their childhood and like early adulthood, I sort of believed that the idea of like magic and specialness and beauty and joy in an adult life was kind of a fantasy. I kind of thought those concepts were things that you believed in childhood, and then you become an adult and you're like, the world is rough and everything's shit. And then I had kids and I was like, oh my God, it's like I have access to all of these things again. And like, I'm not just talking about like the basics of like the magic of Christmas is returned, and which is a really fun aspect. I sort of mean like the everyday mundane becomes really special and really beautiful, and your life becomes really full, and you become really grateful for everything around you. I think it's really like finding beauty in finding a sense of purpose. I know a lot of parents will reflect and be like, what did I even do before I had kids? Like, what was even the meaning of my life? Because it is just that fulfilling when you have children, and it just adds that much value to your life. And I know before you have kids, it makes no sense because there's nothing else that I can compare this experience to for me to try and like rationalize it to you. And I'm not saying that, like, if you decide to be child free, you can't have a beautiful, full, fulfilling, amazing life. You 100% can. You just can't have that same type of beauty and fulfillment that you get from having kids. It is just a very unique experience and a very special experience. I know there is like a viral speech of Emma Stone accepting an award, and she thanks her daughter in the speech, and she says something like, "Since having you, baby girl, my life has become Technicolor." And I've always thought that was a really simple but beautiful way to sort of explain the feeling of having your own child and what it adds to your life. Yeah, some days I want to slam my head into a wall, or I want to cry and scream and call my mom and quit and say I can't do it because I'm tired and I want to relax and I want to go to the shops without a kid crying on me. That's all very normal, but the sacrifice, it's worth the reward.
If you have kids, can you explain to me how your life has changed?
Firstly, your house just constantly looks like someone's just broken into it. Like, there's never order. Okay, but if we're talking like pros and cons, like cons is there's areas of your life that now just have stress that didn't have stress before, like meal times, stressful. Bedtime, stressful. Shower time, stressful. Brushing teeth, like there's just added stress, but it's not bad. Con, you're tired more than you were before you had kids, but it's all relative. Pro, my life is so much better now that I have a kid and I'm pregnant with my second. Like, my life is so much better because my priorities have never been clearer. My intentions have never been clearer. My why is so much bigger. I have shit to focus on. There's no pockets of the day that I can just sit and scroll and waste my fucking life away. I have intention in how I move through my days all the time, not like sometimes and then like one Sunday you just stay in bed. No, all the time. Also, like the added stress in some moments, you have so much more dopamine and serotonin because these little human beings make you laugh at the dumbest shit. And I don't think we laugh enough without kids. Like, I don't think we laugh enough in life. And yeah, they're funny as shit. You also hate your partner sometimes, and like the fighting can be real if the communication's not there. Even if the communication's in there, you're gonna fight. But the love, like seeing your partner become a parent and going through parenting things together, you're like, oh my fucking God, I love you so much and I made a human with you. That's so fucking hot. And it's all how you set it up for yourself. Like, I have more money, laugh more, I have the same amount of time for myself, but I spend a lot of time with my son, a lot of time with my husband, slightly less sex than before, but like, we prioritize what's important to us. So it's fucking like, it also just goes with the evolution of your life. Like, if you weren't gonna have kids anyway, you're 29, like in a few years you're gonna evolve. That evolution happens whether or not you have kids or not. It just can look slightly different with kids.
If you have kids, can you explain to me how your life has...
Hey, Abby. I think the primary thing that changes is you have a mirror held up to you and your flaws to a degree that you'd never conceived as possible before having children. Obviously, we become aware of our strengths and our weaknesses through intimate partnership, through work, collaborations, etc. But for me personally, none of that compared to having this person, especially once your kids get older and become articulate, who can actually give voice to the blind spots that you have and are not aware of, or they're blind spots. So this might sound selfish, but purely as a tool of self-examination and self-realization, becoming a parent is a harrowing journey of self-reflection in which, if you're doing it properly, you're probably not going to like what you see.
If you have kids, can you explain to me how your life has...
Okay, I'm going to list off some things that aren't the usual. Oh my God, it's the best love you'll ever feel in the whole world. malarkey, because like that is true. I love my son more than anything in the whole fucking world, but there are some things that have changed. So first things first, my time management skills on fucking point. On point. Do you know how long it takes to get a baby out the house? Pack the bag, make sure there's bottles in the bag, snacks, extra change of clothes. For reference, my son is 10 months old. I know it's only going to get worse. So yeah, leaving the house takes a fucking lifetime. Doing anything takes a lifetime. You've got to plan around a feed and nap schedule. My time management is top fucking tier. Another one is how you can possibly love something so fucking much, but also literally can't wait for 7 o'clock at night. Cannot wait for that little fucker to go to bed. Crave 7 p.m. every single night, and the second he's down, I miss him. 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. is the absolute worst time of day. That the longest 3 hours you will ever endure in your fucking life. Another one, I don't have time to be a messy person anymore. I was the type of person who would quite happily leave the bed unmade, leave dishes pile up, and then just do them when I could be asked a day or so later. No, it's not worth it. It's absolutely not worth it. I get all my shit done while the baby is awake every single day, about 3 times a day. Washing, clothes, dishes, washing and clothes are the same thing in my head. But yeah, all that shit gets done now. I'm so much more organised than I've ever been in my life. But I actually think that's because you don't have no choice. Like, everyone will tell you, oh my god, the washing when you have a baby is unreal. It is unreal. It is absolutely unreal how much washing you're constantly doing. They shit themselves all the time, puke all the time, piss through all the time. But you have no choice other than to do it and to be on top of it. Another one would be the amount of times you have to get up from where you're sitting. You put the baby down. The baby's happy, independent playing. You sit down, pull your phone out, try and have a minute to yourself. You gotta move. You gotta go fetch the baby. The baby's fallen over, you gotta pick the baby up. The baby's pushed something out to reach. You gotta give it back to the baby. Mine can crawl now, thank fuck for that. But it was rough. What else? I pretty much always know where everything is, and I never used to before, whereas now you could put something in a drawer at the back underneath a pile of stuff in the junk drawer, and I'll know where that is. I could go on about this thing forever, but also this is a full beat these days. This is eyebrows, concealer, bit of bronzer and mascara. My hair hasn't been washed in decades. It is slicked back with hairspray. In fact, to tell you the truth, I slept in this last night and it's held up all through today. So I was like, why the fuck would I take that out? But yeah, you don't have time to really do your makeup and whatever, but you'll, sounds a bit cringe, you will learn to love a new version of yourself. It's taken me a long time, but I'm there. And I much prefer how I look with less makeup on and hair out the way than I do with a big blow dry lashes and stuff. You will learn to love and find yourself again.
If you have kids, can you explain to me how your life has...
Can't have nice things. My house is always dirty. I'm endlessly tired no matter how much I sleep. And there's more laundry than I know what to do with.
If you have kids, can you explain to me how your life has...
I feel like I'm the best person to answer this. So I had my baby at 21. I got pregnant at 20 as well. So I also experienced like young parenthood on top of that. Like just parenthood. Like watching my friends go out and like them literally forgetting about me and my existence. Anyway. Number one, I want to say, like, when you know that you're going to continue on with a pregnancy, like, when you find out you're pregnant and you are going to continue on, and, like, the deeper you go through your pregnancy, your hormones and your fucking brain changes so much that, like, what all I'm about to say to you, like, all the negatives, it's like your brain doesn't really see them as negatives. Firstly, let's just look at my house. I was spoilers this morning. Number one, like, shift, like, that I felt as soon as I gave birth, which giving birth is a whole other thing. Like, I had a really bad planned C-section. I had a horrible birth, but once they're here, it's like a bubble. It's insane. Like, it's beautiful. Like, it's something I literally can never ever put into words what is magic, literally. But again, that's the positive side, is like once you meet your baby. Okay, so I was saying, the biggest shift that I felt as soon as I gave birth was that like everything was on the baby's time. Like I I was always used to everything being on my time, like as you are, like even if you're in a relationship, even if you're really close and live with your family, like you are still your own person and you have your own routine, and like you can do whatever you want whenever you want, like it's on your time. For me, the like when I gave birth, like I couldn't just get in the car and go like to the gym. Like if like I want to go to the gym, I had to like have mum look after baby, or like and then go with my sister, like, and yeah, like I had no time for myself, literally no time for myself, even though I had the best dad, like he is to his little girl, like my partner. I still had no time for me ever, especially at like the first year, I would say. I unfortunately developed HG, which is hyperphysis gravidarum. I was throwing up to 40 times a day from the start of my pregnancy till 20 weeks is when I got off the medication that helped stop it, but it didn't really do shit. And it all made me feel weird and gross. But I was vomiting up to 40 times a day. Sometimes blood came up. I couldn't eat. I'd go to hospital for the drip all the time because it was the only thing that would get into me. Like I was really malnourished up to 20 weeks, and then I finally started being able to slowly eat food. I was only able to eat mango and lamb chops, and then at 30 weeks I could eat whatever, and I gained so much fucking weight. Like it is insane how much weight I put on, and luckily I've lost it, I'm gonna be honest, because I've never been a larger person. I lost all my confidence. Like it was awful postpartum. And that's just something I have my body, my stretch marks, I just have to accept it. Like you can't do anything about it. One of the biggest things that I did miss though, and I touched on it before, was like being able to get in the car and just go. You have to like plan this whole charade to be able to get into the car and just finally just get in the car. Like it takes literally like a half an hour. My daughter's now 2.5, and it's finally getting to the point where it takes like 10 minutes to get in the car, not even. But that was a massive struggle, and it ended up just turning into I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't really leave much at all, to be honest, for a long time in my postpartum. Also, at 20 weeks after my HG finally miraculously went away, I developed a anxiety disorder, and I had struggled with panic attacks a lot when I was 13, but they went away when I was about 14, and like I would get an odd one here and there, and little tiny, and they weren't massive, they were like little tiny panic attacks. But I was pretty good until 20 weeks in my pregnancy. I dropped my partner off at a party, and I was with my niece, and I was driving to get back onto the freeway. Also, excuse the noise in the background, that will also be in your ears 24/7. But yeah, I dropped my partner off, and then I go to merge back onto the freeway, and I swerved back off into like the middle of this island because I just started panicking out of nowhere. And then my little sister had to come home, like she had to finish work, leave work to come and pick me and my niece up and drive us home, and my car was left where the party was at. And I know my partner should have come home here because I was pregnant, but I didn't anticipate to have any more panic attacks. I thought that was a one-off. But I ended up panicking that whole night, and then it got so bad that at 30 weeks until I gave birth, my mum had to come as soon as my partner left to go to work, which somehow ended up turning out to be my trigger. I would wake up no matter what. My body was like on clock when he left to go to work, and I heard the door shut. I would panic straight away, and like I would panic really, really like intensely. The worst panic attacks I've ever had in my life. And like there was no reason, like I couldn't, and my partner couldn't just stay home every day. Thank God my mum wasn't working at the time, so she had to leave her job for me. She came Every day she drove an hour to me, an hour back so she would leave her house at 4:30 and get to me at 5:30. So as soon as Ollie, my partner, would walk out of the door, my mum would walk in because I genuinely could not be alone. And that felt so fucking isolating. It was a horrible time in my life because I'm about to have a baby and I feel like I am a fucking baby again all of a sudden. I also couldn't drive anymore because the first panic attack started when I was driving, so I couldn't drive anymore, which still to this day, 3 years later, I still can't drive alone on like a freeway no matter what. I can't. I will always have to go, like I've always got to be with someone, or I'll have a panic attack, and I'm still medicated for my panic attacks, which is, yeah, it was awful. I'm really lucky that I didn't struggle with like too much postpartum anxiety, depression, but I struggled really bad with postpartum rage, and I did some things in front of people that I regret to this day and I'm so embarrassed by. So I remember one time I was at a party with like all my friends and all my like little sister, my mum, my family, like dad, everyone was there, and my partner Ollie, and I don't even know what happened, but I ended up throwing a drink at his head and in front of everyone and storming off down the road. And I had only had one drink because even now I don't really drink after postpartum. That's another thing. I've lost all interest in alcohol and going out ever since I had a baby, which I hate because I am such a social person and I literally hate it so much that I can't just go out and get drunk sometimes. Anyway, what was I saying? I can't remember now. But yeah, my postpartum rage was just really bad, and like I was so embarrassed after all of that. Like I couldn't believe I'd done that. Like, and my rage was just like I would yell and like over nothing, and just, yeah, my cup was super empty. And because you're learning to be a parent, we had no idea like what worked. And at the time I was doing like this, like the go to sleeps and like the wake ups and waking up during the night and stuff, so my partner could work and sleep through the night. But we learned very quickly that, yeah, that was not healthy and did not work for me, my mental health at all. But yeah, after pregnancy, I got back on medication, started seeing a psychologist, and slowly everything got better. And now I'm here 2 years after giving birth, and like, I'm sorry, I know you didn't want sappy stuff, but I loved it. I loved it so much. Could I do it again? I don't fucking know. I really do not know. I want to, but all of that trauma and pregnancy, I don't know if I could put myself through it again willingly. I hope that helped, but yeah.
In life, I believe that there are advantages and disadvantages of things, and that includes having children. So, I feel like, yes, there are advantages of having children. I won't even say otherwise. I know there are good side of having kids. Of course, one of the stages was like they make you laugh. They do some things that you just laugh. Sometimes you just smile. When you're having a bad day, when you just see your child or your children, you just be like, oh, I'm so blessed. There are advantages, right? But then there are disadvantages. So I personally believe that when something has more disadvantages than advantage, then that thing, is it worth it? So when it comes to children, I personally, my own personal opinion, you can go otherwise, but it's my own personal opinion. I feel like there are more of disadvantage of having children than advantages. That's what I feel. I know the advantage. I'm not even saying there are no advantage, but there are more disadvantages. So that is why before you have a child, I always say it, before you even think about it, know that you are in this alone. forget about everybody beside you, forget about, there was one of the mothers that said it brought she and her husband together, that she was looking at her husband and be like, oh, we made this beautiful child together. Some partners will not be there for you. So most of the time, in fact, if you're someone that likes clean home, you like your house being clean and sparkling, like everything being arranged, don't have children. You don't like noise. Noise triggers you. Don't have kids. You want to be able to control your body weight, because when you have a child, I feel like there's possibility that you might get fatter than the way you are. So if you're kind of person that you don't like body fats, you just like to be slim with your flat tummy, like your back, you want your back and your flat tummy to be competing. Your back and your tummy, you want them to be competing with figure. Don't have kids, because getting pregnant alone will disfigure your tummy. So there are a lot of things you need to consider. I feel like it's an individual thing. So once you sit down and like, okay, I don't like noise. I like clean place. I want my tummy to be flat. I don't really have much money, or my partner is not even that reasonable to be a good father, and you're still considering on having children, then whatever you see, you take it, because it is irreversible. The decision of having children and deciding to have children, I do tell people that when you do it, you cannot undo it. It is not something that they will tell you, okay, undo it now. No, you already have it. You already have the child. You cannot unhave that child. That child is already yours. In fact, some will have 1 and 2 and 3. That is it. Like, you cannot throw them away. They are your child, unless you want to be a bad parent. So if you want to be a good parent, you know that you already have them. So before you consider having them, think twice. I know when it comes to marriage, you can still divorce, you can still break up, you can still go your separate ways. But once there is a child involved in that marriage, you're still going to be connected one way or the other. So far the child is involved. So far there's a child involved. But when there's no child involved, see, when it comes, I feel like children, before you do it, think very well. Don't say because, okay, I'm married, then automatically it is normal it is not normal for you to have a child if you're married. If your partner is not okay to be a father, don't do it. Don't project or don't assume that, okay, I feel like this. Don't feel like, know it, that is going to be a good father to your child. If it's not going to be a good father, you will regret. That is why we see a lot of mothers that come out and talk about why they are regretful. Listen to those stories, read those Reddit stories, listen to those videos when they come out and talk about it. They will tell you that they wish that they had waited probably 2 more years or 3 more years in the marriage before considering having children. Or they wish they even stopped at number 1 when they started seeing the signs. Some might not even know. Some might be like, okay, maybe the man must be pretending or manipulating and they were not paying attention. No problem. But you have the first one and you know it was a deadbeat dad. Then you went ahead to have the second one. You didn't stop there. You had the third one. Then it's your choice. Like, sometimes I don't feel pity for this kind of women that when I be like, okay, how many children do you have? They be like, I have 4 children. My marriage has been, I noticed my marriage has started from year 1. But you sat down there and have 4 children. Why? Why? What were you thinking that is going to change? See, I'm not trying to convince anybody not to have children or anybody to have children. It's just like, I just feel like I'll advise you that when you want to do something, think about it. When it comes to children, it's irreversible. And also know that you're going into this alone. Most of the time, the village that you think will be there, you feel like, oh, don't worry, my friend, my bestie got me. Oh, my bestie is going to be there. They might not be there. They might get unalive before even your child gets. In fact, the mom, that she might not be there. So many people might not be there. The partner that you feel like loves you so much right now might not be there anymore. What are you going to do? So that is why you need to think, because some people do it just because, oh, once I give it, I'll just show the child to my mother. I'll go and enjoy my life and party hard. Let me just have the child while I'm young, or the children when I'm young. What if the person you're thinking wants to give your child has gotten unalive? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Eh? Or what if they tell you, go take care of your child? Like, this is not my child. Go and take care of your child. What are you going to do? You start hating on them because they did not accept your children. What if financially you don't even have enough money to take care of yourself? Because I personally, in fact, some people believe that children bring wealth. Where I'm from, where I'm from, people see children as a breakthrough. You see poor people, like literally, when I say poor, they can't even afford a good meal, just one in a day. You can't afford a good meal. You just see them eating unhealthy, right? And you see the wife pregnant. And you're like, are you okay? And yeah, no, this child can be president tomorrow. This my child that I'm pregnant with can be a president tomorrow. In fact, our pastor said he's going to take us out of this poverty. Another reason why I'll tell you to think about it, reconsider it, is it is a life and death situation. Not everybody comes out of it alive. And even most people that comes out of it alive come out with complication. That's why you see women that tell you, oh, since I gave birth, my back has not remained the same. I've been having serious back pain. Since I gave birth, I cannot pull easily. Since I gave birth, my tummy, I've been having ulcer. Since I gave birth, I've had fibroid. Like a lot of serious illness that women are facing after childbirth. So think about it, do your research before. Don't just sit down and listen to the other women that are just bringing out the little things and not talking about most of the disadvantage. And yeah, what is your take on this video? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section respectfully. Right, these are all Maria David, and don't forget to like and share and subscribe, and please turn on the post notification bell to get notified as soon as I upload another interesting video like this one. And of course, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.